Mike Lubitz with me. These coaches' press conferences where they come in to take over a job. The last time I saw this kind of enthusiasm, I don't know if you saw any of the clips of this Mike McIntyre. He takes over at FIU, a team that won one game last year. The last time I saw this much enthusiasm, I had accidentally tuned into an episode where they had an Up With People concert on TV. When the guy asked me if I had a living trust yet,
that's scary.
He didn't even ask me, when was my last visit.
When the doctor
looked at me and asked me if I had a will.
So your affairs in order?
Exactly what he said. He handed me Michael D. Wild's card. No, they were pushing a guy to get your will done.
Oh, God.
You think the guy's getting fed a little piece of the action back? They take a look at all the guys that look like they're about to check out. They send them straight to Moish or Schwartz. We'll get your affairs in order. Hey, Moish, come in the room, too. Got another one.
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
I'm getting closer to my home. That's right, getting closer and closer to D-Day. That's right, C-Day, I guess it would be, Christmas Day.
I woke up today and was like, what day is it? Do we still have to do this?
You know what escaped me almost completely because you lose track. It's like I'm working on the Hebrew calendar or something as we go to the end of December here. And well, I don't know. Are people hoping that this year comes to an end? 2021, it was a good year for some people in many ways, and it was an awful year for a lot of people, including many who checked out during 2021, which that's never a good year if you happen to check out during the course of the year. Crazy year for me. I know you've had your ups and downs during the course of 2021. Yes, Mike Lubitz. And I couldn't be happier than to have landed. I don't know that we're on our feet yet. We're on this Ion Channel project and transitioning from what was a pretty smooth. It took us 11 years to get that system to the point where it was operating with the kind of cash flow and feeling and response that we needed. Doing that radio show for so many years there on WINZ 940 here in South Florida, which decided to go ahead and pull the plug on any chance they had of ever having a single listener. Exactly. By going all network radio in a station that already has like 5 other sports stations. And they have things like, as a professor pointed out, Brady Quinn saying that it was all the media's fault that Urban Meyer ended up getting canned by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, come on.
This Shaka Khan guy, man, I mean, he's got to be slightly clueless also. I know he invented something where you step up onto a truck, truck parts, and became like a zillionaire because like every truck has one. It's like a friend of mine. Now, we had a friend, Ron, who unfortunately passed away this year as well. Accidental death occurred, and he had inherited like billions of dollars because his father invented a piece that is in every single vehicle and had the patent on this thing that was involved in automotive air conditioning. And there wasn't a single car manufactured anywhere in the world that didn't have this guy's piece in there. Billions.
Oh, my God. Good for him. Wow. Jesus.
But comes under the heading, my friend, of you can't take it with you. So you better enjoy it while you can, everybody. So live every day. That's our philosophy here on the Defo Show. Great to be with you on the Defo Show. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz with you on this fine Tuesday morning with the countdown on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then it's the holiday season. And that next week after Christmas is a complete waste of time. But it's creeping up on me. I didn't even realize it. I keep looking, and I'm thinking there's still like another week or two left in the year. But we're zeroing in on Christmas, and which I guess it's a week and change away now that I realize it, right? We're talking about 12/31 for the semifinal championship games in college football. Okay.
Yeah, the playoffs.
For some reason, when I woke up this morning, I was thinking, man, we're not even talking about these games, and they're coming up on Friday.
No. But
that's not it, all right? Christmas Eve. And are they going to do the NBA, like 18 games on Christmas Day?
It's weird because because it's a Saturday, the NFL has games too. So the NBA is doing games, but I feel like they're not going to do a marathon because they're going to lose. At this time of the year, no one gives a crap about the NBA.
Are they even going to be playing, though? I mean, that was always a big thing for the
COVID
NBA.
Thing, I don't know. With the COVID, I don't know. It's a whole disaster right now. The
NHL has to shut down.
Like, screw it.
It's amazing to me. I mean, Brett Tessler was a late scratch on the card today. He usually joins us every Tuesday, has for many, many years. And always good talking to the agent of the Stars, Brett Tessler. But I remember this, and I was going to hit him with this right away when he came on the show. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to join us today. But nonetheless, I remember at the beginning of the year, I asked him what he thought was the biggest issue facing the National Football League in 2021. And he kind of stunned me, and I still remember vividly when he said COVID. And I thought, COVID? What are you talking about? You're like my paranoid friend Evan, who hasn't left the house in 2 years. And flies on the plane with a welder's mask and, ski mask and every kind of mask that he could possibly. He's got like a Lone Ranger mask. And, just totally paranoid about COVID-19, which is fine. I mean, I have no beef with anybody, especially if you're being overprotective.
Yeah, you're just being
That's
careful.
okay with me. Better that than some careless loser who's spitting in everybody's face and saying, hey, I want my $50 back. You're like, what? You had to spit at me? You COVID-infested piece of... I've developed a little bit of, with the walk of life, I've developed walking road rage. And I've talked about this before, but I've noticed it more and more of late. I don't know if it's that I'm consuming more THC-laced gummy bears or whatever it is that I'm doing that is enhanced, whatever this craziness, this lunacy is in my head, where I have ratcheted up my old man anger about anybody that violates any of what I perceive to be the basic tenets of decency of passing people on a sidewalk in the midst of a pandemic. Like, don't stand so close to me. Now, I'm one of those guys. I have always been one of those people that I would get on an elevator last. I would let everybody out of the elevator before I get out. I mean, that's just something that was instilled in me as a kid. Basic, I don't know, what would you call it? Courtesies,
Manners,
ethics,
manners,
standards of living, manners. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Words
Manners.
but courtesy.
Yeah. Open the door for people, hold it open. I mean, if you're going into a building and you're rushing in there, okay. So if the other guy's in a big hurry, let him go first. Well, what do I care?
Yes.
Hold the door open after you go through.
I do it in the car. Someone wants to get over. It's like, all right, go on. Just go. Go.
Is that a regional thing also? I don't know. Because I noticed this when I was in Kentucky at Keeneland. Very crowded, the racetrack at Keeneland. We went up there, I guess that was in October. And went up right before we started the Eye on Channel show. In fact, that's what made it such a dicey proposition, that first show, which nearly didn't get off the ground because flight delayed. Allegiant Airlines. Expect delays. Yes, because they only have like one plane, the entire airline.
The entire fleet.
Where is this place? It's in Sanford. Sanford, where's that? That Florida? Yeah, okay. When's it coming up here? Oh, it's going to take a couple of hours, so you guys just sit tight. We'll let you know when to come to the gate. Hey, why don't you have a drink at the bar in the meantime? So anyway, I got back real late from that flight, which nearly was canceled. I mean, it came close to being canceled. If it gets past a certain time there in Lexington, Kentucky, ain't no more planes taking off. And very dicey. I came in there for the first day, and actually, I've seen because the show ended up getting a bunch of clicks. So I'm thinking, well, what did we say in that show that we're not saying since? And you've played a few clips here and there from that first show. And the truth was, I mean, literally was seeing bugs that day. But, I mean, it worked out great.
Yeah, you faked it well. I said
a lot better than I thought. And here we are, a couple of months into this thing and really optimistic about what's going to happen in 2022. So, thank you people for tuning in first of all. And second of all, for putting up with us as we incurred our various stages of growing pains, which we're still, trying to perfect this thing.
It'll be happening again.
Which is good.
We've gotten to an interesting place, and we'll keep going.
All right, so you had a doubleheader in football last night. The first game, I had a betting interest in both, only from the standpoint of, as I've often mentioned here on the program, and I would say this, even if I lost like several $1,000s to this guy, it did spark my interest in other games around the NFL that I normally wouldn't zero in on or have any interest in how they were contested, what was the flow of the game, what transpired in there. So I had a minor interest in the two games last night. Otherwise, they both looked like dogs, did they not? Yeah, Minnesota and the Bears, a compromised Bears team, COVID-19 hit the Bears very hard. They had to postpone the first game that was played last night from Saturday to Monday because of COVID concerns and because so many players were out. I don't know if it was both rosters, but certainly the Browns, which, the Browns went out there with a secondary, literally, it was a bunch of UPS drivers.
Yes, it was all backups, their entire secondary.
playing in the secondary, guys that you never heard of, that even the coach wasn't familiar with. So they go out there and, they were getting shredded early in the ball game by the Las Vegas Raiders. Almost said Oakland. Las Vegas Raiders. That's permissible, isn't it, to screw
I would
that up?
say Oakland, 100%, so good for you. The Los Angeles teams I have down now. I don't really do San Diego anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't say Las Vegas ever. It never. When someone's like Las Vegas, I'm like Las Vegas. I'm like, who's in Las Vegas?
Well, what team is there? Yeah, the Running Rebels.
I'm like,
Greg Anthony going to take the court there and lob a couple of them up for dunks.
That throws me off every time. I'm like, oh yeah.
Anyway, I want to add a little interest in this game. I mean, two teams, they both ended up 7-7 after the ball game. The Raiders won it on a last-second field goal. Congratulations to our friend Sheldon G. Speaking of stone degenerates, and I don't know what happened with this guy. Did you know him to be filthy rich when we used to see him at Gulfstream Park?
He never bet like he always bet, and I think he always was doing fine, but we never knew him to be Floyd Money Mayweather.
No, I mean, he makes Mayweather look like a chump.
It's like on like a Tuesday baseball game, he's putting 25 grand on like the Tigers. It's like, what?
Right. I mean, you know, it is. You're screaming at the track because you have 20 to win on a horse that ends up paying like $680. You're going to get back $68, and you're like the loudest guy at the bar, yelling and screaming, "Come on with that too! Come on with that too!" And then your buddy shows you a ticket, and he had like 2 dimes on the horse, and he never said a word. Sheldon G is a friend of ours. We used to see him at Gulfstream Park all the time. He's now living in Las Vegas, and I think he owns Las Vegas at this stage. But he has been making substantial wagers. I'm talking about like yesterday, he had $44,000 at minus 110. 44,000, getting 3 points with the Browns last night. And he had to watch that first half with 40 dimes riding on the game. Now, I don't know, was he going to suffer any? I think 40 dimes is a pretty good chunk of change no matter how rich you are.
I don't care who you are. That's a lot of money.
I mean, if you have billions, I guess it really is irrelevant.
Okay, I think he's not Elon Musk. Like, I know he's doing fine. I'm just saying, like, 44 grand is a lot of money.
44 grand on a proposition like that, and then you watch this first half, and the Browns are getting shredded. David Carr, I mean, is out there chucking the rock. Derek Carr. But David was the failure there with the Houston Texans, his brother. Might have been a better quarterback. I don't know. But
right now, Derek's not been great. So
Derek's not terrible. I mean, he's not great. There's no doubt that he falls.
Mariota, and no one knew Mariota was still in the league. So, like,
yeah. So Carr is on fire. I mean, he hits like his first 9 passes, and literally the Browns secondary has been so decimated. You thought maybe they would get Freddie Kitchens back from the what is he coaching with the Jets now? His offensive coordinator. He's somewhere. Freddie Kitchens.
Somewhere on OC.
He's an OC, and you would have thought that they had used him. Just sent him out there on the field. It was ugly. So you're watching, and I thought, okay, well that one's up in smoke because I have the Browns +3, and I had them for like 1 unit with Francesco. Whereas this guy's got 44 dimes riding on a game. And then you become a lock there when they decide to go for they ended up going for the game-winning field goal. You're getting 3. They can only win by 2. Hope they make it at that point, right? You're actually cheering for the team to beat your team because it will end the game.
And then you have your cover. The Kitchens is the interim offensive coordinator for the Giants.
Giants, okay. I knew he was with one of the New York teams because I keep seeing his name pop up in my New York Post. So that game was ugly, but the Browns end up covering the point spread somehow, losing 16-14. I lost track of that game. So I went out and played a little tennis, geezers at Caesars tennis with my buddy Dr. Jerry Perlmutter, who was way off his game last night. Way off. Do you feel badly for your opponent when he just absolutely sucks? It's not fun. I mean, you want the guy to play well.
I hate playing ass. I haven't played tennis in like 15 years, but like whenever you play with someone who can't keep up, it's annoying. It's like it's boring.
No, the guy's better than this, and he gets frustrated. And I'm not a big fan of racket throwing and pitching fits.
That's annoying.
And self-denigration during the point. I mean, it's one thing you're going to get mad at yourself, but I don't know. I'm not into all of that yelling and screaming like, "Ah, yeah, you're stupid," right? And you're talking to yourself.
Exactly.
There are enough people that think that I'm an idiot for me, to avoid having to add one more name to the list. I know you feel that way, Lubie, right? I mean, if you don't like yourself or root for yourself, then who is?
Exactly.
These are all thoughts that you guys can consider philosophically for the holiday season. Right. So anyway, and the other game was a disaster. I did catch some of that, but I would have had 0.0 Blutarski numbers in terms of interest in the Vikings game later on against the Chicago Bears, who are the most boring team I have ever seen in my life. I mean, they rival the Thanksgiving Day Detroit Lions of, say, what? Any year, I guess you could throw in.
It's amazing because that defense was elite and now it's good, but it's not great anymore because God forbid something be great for the Bears. And Justin Fields sucks. And I get it. It's
What
not
are
really
they doing
him.
with this kid?
It's not him. Like, they don't have a line. They have no talent. But still, I liked him a lot. And he was really good in college. And he's like, eh.
You talk about indecisive. You don't have that extra split second like you did when you were behind some big time college line.
Nope.
All of these quarterbacks, most of them anyway, seem to come from programs, like Alabama, as was the case with Tua and several others that are in the league right now, where they're counting Mississippi's against your offensive line. You have guys that were second round draft picks in the league. That guy Leatherwood, right? He's a starter for the Vegas.
Yeah, he's a
And
beast.
he was a second round pick, and I was amazed he even lasted into the second round. Hey, Mel, when do you think he's going to go?
Yeah. That was a
Should
good
be
opportunity.
anytime soon. On a draft day, and now you're looking, okay, so they drafted 15 other Alabama players in the first round, and this guy, who was probably worthy of being a first-round pick, second round, a monster, a behemoth of a man. And but these quarterbacks that come into the pros now, all of a sudden, you don't have that split second of time. And you've got, monstrous people just attacking at every angle and trying to swat the ball out of your hands. And you just can't take that extra split second of indecisiveness, or you're going to get knocked out. And Justin Fields is getting banged around pretty good. And last night, no exception. The Bears could not have made more mistakes, only overlapped by the officiating in terms of atrocious reasons why the Bears lost that game. I don't know that they would have won the game, but the officiating in that game was so suspect that you would have to start to believe that maybe Roger really has sold out. Are we going to find this out later on? Hey, Raj. I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago. That's all.
Yeah. Like, they over officiate these penalties that are
Oh, my
like
God.
Personal foul shit. It's like, all right, we know if it's like roughing the passer is always, they always call roughing the passer, and it's like, it's not always roughing the passer. Pass interference is every play. It's like, it's not always pass interference.
But it's like there's always contact on every possession. Usually all 4 spots on the floor, all 5 spots. But let's say a guy's a mile away from the basket. You're not seeing contact there. But in an NBA, any given possession, right? You're telling me that they're not banging bodies a little bit down low?
That's the game.
Yes. So if you're going to call every single piece of contact, then you may as well not play the game. And the same thing I think would apply to these pass interference rules, which you'll see blatant pass interference not get called, and then you'll see some of the worst inconsequential contact that seems more than permissible. A guy puts his hands on a guy long before the ball is delivered. I always felt this way in the NBA. If you were going to call fouls, but make sure that you call stuff that actually impacted a play, a guy's ability to score a basket or do whatever he was trying to do. And if it was consequential to that and had some impact on it, then okay, go ahead, call it. Otherwise, forget about all this touch foul stuff and getting technically involved to the point where we had to call that because that was in the rule book. They had one like this in that game last night, where a guy dives to make a tackle, and incidentally, as he was diving, a lineman kind of tripped over him. And because the guy was diving to make the tackle, they called that undercutting the lineman, which is in the rule book as unsportsmanlike, and it's a personal foul. And this kept a drive alive for Minnesota that changed the outcome of the game.
What is the defense supposed to do there? Like, even Riddick, and we sort of mock
Riddick, by the way, I can't take this guy anymore.
He was
they have to
frustrated
take
all
him off these games. My God.
He was frustrated all night about the refs. Like, he was complaining incessantly about how bad the refs were.
Does this guy know everything about everything, though? He seems like a guy that you would want to respect, and I do respect whatever it is that this man's accomplished in his lifetime. Okay. He's in the booth on Monday Night Football, and, not that this is any, a small fry thing, but, here we are on Ion Channel, with a developmental project. So,
Yes.
Okay, so the guy, he's got a decent broadcasting career going. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
But he's got to shut up. He really does. Enough. You don't have to go bell to bell on every play explaining all of this minutia to people who have been watching sports their entire life. We know pretty much what's going on out there. You play games. I mean, at any level, you sort of have an understanding for what's happening. I don't know that you need. Do we really need to know it on that level? What is it that these producers and directors of games are thinking when they put these guys in the booth that just never let go of the whole technical aspect and all of this, hypothetical, philosophical stuff that they're telling you about the organization? I mean, they just zero in like they did last night. I think they did a good job on the visual side of things. They just zeroed in on the Bears general manager, a young guy who obviously, as they would say, seems to have fucked up. I don't want to laugh at a guy's failure. Look, I've had more than my share of down moments, professionally. That's for sure. But wow, this guy has like no draft picks, no first rounders. I don't know. It said till 2023. Is that really that long? That's like 1 year. It said he has no first round picks until 2023. So he has no first round picks this year. Is basically what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, a lot of misleading stats also and graphics being posted on these games. And then you got Riddick babbling away. Do you hear anything that he says after a while? No. I mean, what's the point? It's like when Gus Johnson was calling boxing and you had to immediate mute button because the guy was driving you crazy. Smith Jones. What is that? That's not any kind of play-by-play call. That's going to enhance the viewer's enjoyment and ability to understand what's going on. That you can see. That's the other thing that's missing there. I mean, we're all watching this stuff, but he wasn't wrong about that. Louis Riddick. I mean, he actually at least had the courage to say that these were atrocious calls.
Yes, that's all I was saying. Is as bad as he is, at least he was calling out the refs for being horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, it was awful. It really was. Big plays, too. Personal fouls called, I think, a minimum of 3 times that I can remember on crucial plays where you're going to have Minnesota facing a 4th down punting situation. And instead, they not only keep the drive alive, but actually get in a position where they end up rolling in for a touchdown on that particular drive. And you combine that, compounded by the Bears' own ineptitude in that ballgame. Wow, fumbling, failing to advance the ball, fumbling inside the 20, rolling in for a score. I think they went out on downs one time. You had this Fields. I mean, he looked like garbage in this game. He looked like a lost soul, did he not? He looked like Cam Newton with the Patriots last year. Except he's in the league for the first time. So, wow, I mean, they have screwed up. I don't know that he's not going to become a good quarterback in the NFL. It's possible, I guess. It's hard to tell off what we saw a couple of games with Justin Fields. But every time the Bears are on TV, I'm thinking, is there another game? Something, please, God, help me. I don't want to watch this. I mean, real dreck, and that's what we were subjected to last night. And unfortunately, the Bears, because they did themselves in and also were victimized, the coach came out and said, Nagy, said, hey, this was the worst officiated game I've ever seen. So he's probably going to get fined like $250,000.
Yeah.
For opening up a mouth about the officials. What is it, 25 times that they charge you?
They fine you a lot, even if you're being honest. Like,
I'm going to get my money's worth if I'm one of those guys, right? 25,000?
No. If I know they're getting me, then I'm going in.
Anyway, it was ugliness. So here's where we stand. I mean, this is Pete Roselle City. And once again, welcome to the show. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz with you, the Defo Show. As we cruise into the holiday week here, I have a gift idea that I was sent by a friend of mine for the Mustang that I might be able to get by with, still under the auspices of, well, it was really nothing. But we do have the mutual agreement to get each other nothing for the Christmas holiday.
It's got a house. It's like a lot. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, every day you're putting another 5-10 times up in smoke. Every day.
Yep.
It's just incredible. Floors, what? They're buckling? We just put them in. Honey, the shower doesn't work. I mean, you don't want to turn anything on in this place.
Yeah,
I turned the lights on when we first bought the place, and the toilet's flushed.
Oh,
and we told the realtor, okay, we'll take it.
In this market, you just happy.
Inspection? No, who needs that? And,
they don't even do that anymore.
There's nothing out there on the market. That's the way it goes. 13 teams in the AFC are 500 or better, Mike Lubitz. Are you aware of that? 13 teams in the AFC right now, after play was completed last night. There are 2 more games on tap tonight, Tuesday Night Football, going this evening. And seeds 2 through 13 in the AFC, get this, are separated by 2 games altogether.
Yeah.
you could be the second seed or the 13th seed, and there's only a 2-game differential. I guess you're talking about what 9-5 for
9-5
these teams
7.
versus 7-7.
Yes,
That's where it stands. Unbelievable. So parody, Pete Rozelle, absolutely elated there behind the pearly gates. And the NFC also seems to be, I guess you have Green Bay. Looks like the cream of the crop in the NFC. They just keep winning.
and Tampa's very near them.
Tampa, I don't know. They're very suspect right now. Godwin out for the season, tore an anterior cruciate. And you also have Mike Evans is going to be week to week with a hamstring injury. And Tommy Boy didn't look too good without these guys in the lineup.
He gets frustrated. We know that. I mean, the Saints have the magic elixir against him. It's freaking.
All right. Well, if the Bears had somehow not screwed the pooch there last night and completely blown that ball game with a little assist for the officials, it would have been a very interesting run because the Ravens looked to be hopelessly out of their game. I had the Ravens getting 6 points in that ball game. They come back and close within 1 and then blow the game on the 2-point conversion, which we talked about at great length yesterday. So that was a nice comeback from the grave. I figured I was doomed with the Saints against the Buccaneers. No chance. 0.0. Saints, I think, were getting 11 points in that ball game. It might have been that many. And sure enough, they win outright, 9-0. Shut out Tommy Boy. So that was another shocker to close out a big Sunday in the National Football League. And then after watching the first half of that game with the Raiders and the Cleveland Browns, you thought you were finished if you were on the side of the Browns, even getting 3 points at home. And sure enough, they rally and get within 2, save Sheldon G. He wins 40 dimes on that thing.
That's what's interesting to me is he does these major ass bets, and it's always for like the amount he's putting up. Like he's like going chalk, like in all these bets. Like,
well, no, he didn't go with the chalk. He went with the dog last night. He gets 3 points with the Browns, but that's the way you do it. You have to.
Oh, he's doing with the spread.
The juice. I'm telling you, Lubie, you have to learn how to factor this in. That's why I was teaching this to my grandson, Liam.
That's crazy.
Is that before you consider young Liam, that you're breaking even in any kind of degenerate proposition, you have to factor in the vig. You have to factor in the juice. So on almost any betting proposition where you're betting one team or the other aside, as they call it in the NFL, you're betting 110 to win 100. And if you lose, you just lose the 100. But if you're a winning player, you have to put up 110 to win $100. And therefore, I mean, you're going to hit like at 52.38%, which is the number that Liam came up with. And his math teacher said, how'd you come up with that number, huh? And you knew right away that this guy was a sick degenerate. Should he even be teaching first grade at that point? I guess so. I mean, help my grandson out, that's for sure. He's off to a great start. But when you realize that you have to do better than breaking even to break even, that's what they should be telling you in those ads now. I thought it was pretty funny on the NFL Network, which broadcast the first game. And, they have people now that were, in Mariucci is doing one of these spots where they tell you to gamble responsibly. And it's like, why are you telling us that? I mean, do you feel guilty about encouraging everybody to get buried, to lose their future? To sacrifice their children and their grandchildren's well-being because you want them to just dial up FanDuel and DraftKings and bet every dime that they have on these NFL games. Well, you could still bet in-game propositions now. They're wide open. Just pound the phone out there and send us your credit card.
Exactly.
Pretty incredible, right? But now, is that out of guilt that they feel like they have to run a couple of public service announcements?
Yeah, it's probably like the cigarette crap. They're like, yeah, you can now do gambling, but you have to pretend like you're warning people, even though you don't give a shit.
Steve Mariucci, yeah. Hey, don't bet too much.
Like they don't give it.
I like Mooch. I'd be inclined to take his advice. He seems like, he reminds me, he's a football version of Rick Pitino, isn't he, in terms of sort of persona?
Yep. That's what he feels.
I mean, a good guy. One of these guys that feels like he would be a down-to-earth guy, that if you ran into him at the airport bar and you said, hey, Mooch, what do you think about the Browns last night? Did they get shaved by the officials? He would have, given you an honest response there, maybe even engaged in other conversation. But the idea that they have him at a chalkboard like it was Vince Lombardi, and he goes, bankroll, superfluous cash, separation, gamble responsibly, right? I mean, what is the point of that? Everything that they do, this is from the FanDuel set. What does the world come to, man? It's gone totally Michigan. All right, the NBA. You had the Heat in action tonight against Indiana. That's locally here. The Heat, surprisingly, 18-13. They probably should be worse. I think Tucker now is suspect to play.
Yes, and they haven't had Butler in like weeks, and they haven't had Bam in weeks.
Butler literally got body slammed more than Arnold the Golden Boy Skolin, the wrestler out of White Plains, New York. That was always getting creamed at the Garden. Always, in the semi-main event, you would see Skolin in there, and you're wondering, who does this guy know? Who did he bribe? He should be at a flea market somewhere, maybe headlining a card there, and he's at the Mecca of professional wrestling, Madison Square Garden, headlining, in a co-feature when San Martino's going against Monsoon in the main event. Get out of here. All of New York would be talking about that. Hey, who do you like tonight in the wrestling match? I'm going with Bruno. Very popular. Is Bruno still with us? Bruno San Martino? We might be. I want to say yes to that. I was going to get into this. I don't know. It's kind of a morbid topic, but this would be the time to get into some kind of year-ending, like what happened in 2021. A pretty remarkable year all the way around, and yet I can't believe it that we're still infested as a society with this COVID-19. It's still the biggest story.
Yeah, it won't go away. And San Martino passed in 2018.
Like I said, he's been dead for a few years. This guy. Does he still own the rights to the Italian festival there in Palm Beach? He was running the Italian festival for a while. The great Bruno San Martino. Very popular figure. A lot of people checked out, though, in 2021, sports figures, right? Look at this list. I compiled a little list here. Hank Aaron, lost Hank Aaron. Floyd Little, the great Syracuse running back, Denver Broncos, of course, Hall of Famer. Paul Westphal, one of those wild, innovative coaches, and, of course, a good player in his own right. Checked out at a very young age. Remember, we had Westphal on our show, and then, come to think of it, did we have Little on there, too? Tommy Lasorda, one of my all-time favorites, Tommy Lasorda. Don Sutton, who people debated forever, should he be in the Hall of Fame, even though he had 300 wins? Yeah, well, he was a stat compiler. That's where that came from.
That's what he was, yeah.
Don Sutton. Sekou Smith, that was a shocker. A lot of you may not be familiar with Sekou Smith.
That man regularly. He was a good dude.
Lubie, when we first started out, didn't exactly have an expanded Rolodex of, sports significant people. And so he was calling every .com schmink that he could find. And Sekou Smith happened to be one of them. He was just getting started there with NBA.com.
Yes.
So I put him under the category of .com schmink. He came on. He really kind of lit it up. Very illuminating when it came to talking about the NBA, and we got along well. So I thought, wow, let's have this guy frequently. And then he rose up the ranks to become one of the real, the tributes to Sekou Smith when he passed away. That was, very touching. It really was. It was very moving to see that this guy who had started from literally like scratchola had worked his way into being a beloved NBA analyst and writer, and then he eventually was on NBA TV. So, and the story goes like this. If you guys are familiar with what we were doing in the past here on Ion Channel for our new viewers and listeners. So we had this guy on regularly for a long time, and then it was the COVID-19 year there, I guess it was 2020, where you're just looking for any kind of way to fill time. And they had the playoffs going on, and he was in the bubble, right?
Yep.
And he was covering the championship round there that was conducted in the bubble a couple of years ago. And
the finals.
Yeah, and so anyway, we have him on, and then he's coming on like every week, and Lubie calls him, and he doesn't respond for like a couple of weeks.
Wow, yeah.
And then we find out he checked out, 48 years old, from COVID-19. He was just fine. We were talking to him I guess a couple of days prior.
We talked to him like 2 weeks before he passed. I had tried him the week in between. I didn't hear from him, and then the week after, he had COVID, had a fight for 2 weeks. And then he lost his fight, which was really sad.
Yeah, that was a strange one. That was one of those things where you realize, hey, wait a minute, man. You can make all the jokes you want. This is some serious shit because 48 years old, the guy was in perfect health.
It was early
and he got COVID-19, and check, please. And there you go, promising career up in smoke. And the tributes were very, very touching and moving from all around the NBA, even some of the weirdos.
Yep.
I think even Kyrie Irving had something to say.
Players,
he had a theory that he was going to be resurfacing again pretty soon as a referee. I, I don't know what Kyrie believes in. He's supposedly coming back, but we don't know if they're going to be playing. All right, we're coming back. Leon Spinks. Wow, Leon Spinks checked out, very young age. Had all kinds of problems during his lifetime, but of course, made history when somehow he beat. You think Muhammad Ali was in shape for that fight? First time he lost to Leon Spinks?
Probably not. No.
I don't think so.
Probably.
Yeah. Came back and redeemed himself. And Spinks was a very popular figure, though. You forget that he won an Olympic gold medal, Leon Spinks, because he was such an awkward fighter, and he really didn't do much. He was like, I think, in his 9th fight career-wise when he fought Ali somehow, and nobody thought he had a chance. And then he ended up pulling off the upset victory because Ali essentially did nothing, and the judges finally decided that, hey, Muhammad, if that's what you're going to do, that's it. We've had enough. We saw the Jimmy Young fight. We know you lost to Norton. And I'm a big Muhammad Ali fan, but justice is justice. You want to get the call right. All right, we're coming back with more here on Ion Channel. This is a Tuesday edition. Actually, just in a little while, right? Harvey Fielkov going to join us here on the show. Almost forgot about that. A little juxtaposition of time here. So we'll get to Harvey in just a few minutes. He is very busy covering this junior tennis tournament, which you're saying, man, who wants to talk about that? But fascinating. I mean, some of the people that are in it, and you're seeing... It doesn't take long for these guys to blossom, as we saw in the U.S. Open when like a 12-year-old was about to win the thing and lost to a girl who was 13. This was in the Open draw, not some juniors or subterranean juniors. So definitely worth paying attention to. And Harvey's all over that, so we'll talk about that. He has great passion for tennis and, of course, all other sports. He's going to join us here in a few minutes on Ion Channel. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He is Mike Lubitz. Hope you guys are getting in the holiday spirit. I know Andy is. He's been chatting with us on the chat line here that we have on Ion Channel. And, wow, he does ask a very interesting question. When does a degenerate gambler ever have superfluous cash? That would be jamais, as they say in French. Never. Did you ever decide, people, that you're not going to lose any more money before the holidays, that you're going to spend the rest of it on gifts?
Yes.
That might be an important realization for me. So we get closer and closer to the deadline here. Right? Hey, you going to give anything to the kids? All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. Don't forget about Hialeah Park. Wow. I mean, if you don't have your New Year's Eve plans ready, wow, this is the way to go. $55. And you get like a gourmet complete dinner. They really know how to do it right. $45 for kids. Bring the whole family out there. Celebrate New Year's Eve. They have one of the top DJs in the world going to be on site there for your dancing and entertainment pleasure. And you can make an evening of it. They're going to have some kind of spectacular show going on there at Hialeah Park. And you can gamble your brains out right into 2022. That's what I love about it. I love every aspect of this. And I'm glad they're doing it at Hialeah Park. You knew they were going to make something special happen. They always do. Don't forget about the boxing coming up in January. Can't wait to get out there and be ringside for that. I want to bring a lot of people, Lubie. I'm hoping Frankie, can pull it off here. But there's going to be a hot demand for tickets. So order yours right away. And you're going to see all these great Latin stars, Cuban stars. And there's so many of them right now that are really not only on the rise, but already established. And many of those fighters are going to be on this card. So it's going to be a special environment there, and the home crowd is going to be very much behind all of these fighters, and they're going to be challenged. I mean, these aren't set-up matches, so going to see some great competitive boxing there in January at Hialeah Park. All the details are readily available, as always, at HialeahPark.com. We can't wait to get out there, can't wait to see you there and celebrate New Year's Eve with a great dinner and entertainment experience at beautiful Hialeah Park. All right, we're coming back with Harvey in a moment here on Ion Channel. Once again, always our thanks to Jack Namer and his fine organization there. Amy, I mean, just terrific.
Big help. Yep, Brad always.
You feel like she's going to be the creative stimulus that is going to take this thing over the top. Don't you get that feeling? I just feel this way. I feel a certain vibe there that's going to, just breathe success. And, of course, Brad Schiller, man, this guy. Is he unreal, right? 3 a.m, you call him. Hey, I got a problem. It's right on the horn there. Okay, I'll beat your house in a couple of minutes there. We'll fix that up. Actually, once you covered up the crib, man, they kind of got off your back a little bit about the technical aspects of the show. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment. Now that. The time! Neverland Indifference set in, Louie. It's 7:39.
It's the Gambling Gourmet for Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale. It's one of my favorite places It is old school joint that's serving Spanish and classic continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly setting. It's at 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. They're open every day except Sunday for dinner, starting at 5 p.m. You go in there, you see Joey and his better half Sally. They are giving the greatest in service. And the food, oh my gosh, it's paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, stuffed veal chop. They serve this great, fantastic, warm sourdough bread. Go to Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale and tell them that the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen.
Mr. Pentangeli, were you a member of the Corleone family? Did you serve under Capo regime under Vito Corleone, also known as the Godfather?
I never knew no Godfather.
Mr. Pentangeli, you are contradicting a sworn statement you previously made to me and signed. I ask you again, sir, here and now under oath, were you at any time a member of a crime organization headed by Michael Corleone?
I don't know nothing about that. Oh, I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago, that's all.
We have a sworn affidavit. We have it. Your sworn affidavit that you murdered on the orders of Michael Corleone. Do you deny this confession?
Look, the FBI guys, they promised me a deal. So I made up a lot of stuff about Michael Corleone, because that's what they wanted. But it was all lies. Everything. And I kept saying, Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure.
It's now time for the Defo Show.
heard a lot of that over the last couple of years with these congressional hearings. It all sounds like the Patanjali testimony. Mr. Stone, did you know anything about January 6th? I don't know nothing about that. All right, welcome back to the show, the Defo Show here on Ion Channel as we head into the Christmas weekend. And, of course, the holiday season is in full bloom. And it's always great, if you want to get into the holiday spirit, to talk to somebody that's always sort of feeling enlightened and happy and glad to be alive. And that isn't Mike Lubitz, but it certainly is our next guest here on the program, and that is Harvey Fielkov. You are from South Florida. Everybody knows Harvey. A universal good guy. Wrote sports for the Sun Sentinel for many, many years, and now doing a lot of very interesting freelance work. Harvey, welcome to the show. How are you? Merry Christmas, my Jewish friend.
Good morning. Happy holidays, boys. I'm sitting in front of the tennis court at beautiful Biltmore Tennis Center, the posh hotel. Of course, they didn't put me up, the cheap SOBs, but hey.
The Orange Bowl committee couldn't put you up at the Biltmore. You know what they do for Segredo? It's unbelievable.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. They put up like 50 referees and all the people who work for the OBC, but nothing for Harvey. So I had to schlep in from Davie every day. But you know what? I have a theory about the roads in South Florida. I-95, you take your life into your hands every day with these morons cutting you up. But I-75, they're safer drivers. I'm not scared driving on I-75. I wonder what the theory is behind that, boys.
There's more room. I mean, you just have more operating room.
Yep,
people are going faster. You know, they tend to be those people out west. They bought those homes in Weston. They probably shot up exponentially in value. They all have lines of credit, equity lines, and they want to live. You know, it's good. I-95, they don't care anymore. It's a death car on the freeway.
Huge difference. Anyhow, we got a great All-American Girl 14s final. Shannon Lamb, her parents are Chinese, but she was born in New Jersey. It's going to be an exciting day here today. And the other girl, Eva Jokic, her parents are Serbian, but she's also born in California. These girls just don't miss. And on the boys' 14s, we got this kid, Darwin Blench, who's one of 4 siblings, all trying to play pro tennis. 2 older brothers already on the tour. The kid's 6 foot, big lefty, 14 years old. He's going to be a beast. And he's this Colombian kid, Arcilla, who actually trains in Port St. Lucie sometimes at Club Med over there with Gabe Jaramillo, who used to work with Voluntary and just created, he worked with Celis and Courier and Agassi. So it's just, and then we have a 12s final between a Russian girl and another one from Moldova. The Russian girl doesn't speak a word of English. If the USA put her from the United States in California, I'm interviewing her, and her mother's translating for her. So
Nice.
we're going to consider her a Russian.
Was she giving you the right count, or how do you know what the woman was saying, and that the woman, the mother, wasn't relaying you just a completely different answer?
It was just fun to go up to interview her. Because she's from California and she doesn't speak a word of English. That's how the tennis world is these days. All the Russians and foreign kids getting trained in Florida mostly. This young girl's in Seattle, Washington. There's a place called Gourmet Tennis Academy where all the Russians are training. But it's truly an international event. It's the 60th year of the 12s. The OB and Plantation, that was 75 years. I'm doing a big story for the USTA on that and the history of the Orange Bowl. Of course, Federer won it, Roddick won it, Chris Evert won it twice, Andy Murray won the younger division. So it's just, we're seeing the future stars of tennis. And unfortunately, most of them are not American, but we'll see about this kid Blanch today. He was born in Deerfield Beach, but of course he's lived in Thailand and Argentina. And, so I'm calling him a Deerfield Beach native to get the local angle for the Herald, even though he left when he was about a week old.
No, let's hope the editor. If the editor doesn't read more than 2 words into the lead, then you got a shot there to get that by as a local story. All right, I have to ask you this question, Harvey Fielkov. We put it on a show yesterday. We never really answered it. We kind of revealed 4 of the 5 because one of our listeners was on the chat line, the great Andy Tiv, and he had 4 of the 5, and I thought he missed the obvious one. But do you know, with Buck Showalter being named the manager of the New York Mets, do you know the 5 gentlemen who managed both the Yankees and the Mets during their managerial career? 5 people have done both. Have been both the Yankee and Met managers One would be the obvious Casey
Yogi
Stengel, I
Berra.
guess.
Yogi Berra.
Yeah. Yogi was the other, and that was the one that Andy didn't get.
Like Yogi Berra?
Yogi Berra, Casey Stengel, I gave you.
For sure. That's two. Joe Torre? No.
Joe Torre, yeah. Joe Torre was on one of them, for sure.
He managed the Mets
early. He was with the Mets before he was good. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he the Mets
I know
his early crappy manager?
I know he
days?
managed the Braves. Wow.
He managed the Mets and the Yankees, Joe Torre.
Wow. That's three.
Well, you got Buck is the fourth one because he just became that. So you have one more.
Buck's four, right.
There's one more.
Buck's four. Give me a hint.
It's a guy you would never think of.
There you go. That's
even though you're a big Yankee fan and should know all guys that manage both the Yankees and the Mets.
Willie Randolph. Willie?
No. Dallas Green was the other guy. Dallas Green managed both the Yankees and the Mets. I would have never thought of Dallas Green if I didn't read it online, as the question popped up. But anyway, so Buck Showalter was a Yankee manager for many years. I was curious to get your thoughts because you're very critical of all managerial decisions that are made by guys that are wearing pinstripes. You would have been ragging on Casey for batting Bobby Richardson first. So, what did you think of Buck Showalter as a manager? Did the Mets make a good move here in hiring this guy to become their next field boss?
By the way, Casey was Jack McKeon, the old professor, and Jack McKeon turned around the Marlins and had that magical year. But Casey was already kind of senile by the time he got to the Mets. But
Yes.
he was more for publicity at that point. Buck Showalter, very tightly wound, like Joe Girardi, but a brilliant baseball tactician. Not one of these guys that goes strictly by the book, which I hate. One thing I hate about Aaron Boone and his pitching moves, he's like he has no gut feelings. Buck Showalter does go with his gut now and then. He's going to bring back base running and the hit and run. He's old school. He usually turns around teams instantly into winners his first 2 or 3 years, and then his voice gets lost in the locker room because he's kind of sharp and kind of tightly put together. He's not a real. He doesn't really make guys laugh a lot in the clubhouse. But I love him on MLB. He's a great analyst. He's a brilliant baseball mind. And look, they're bringing back all the old guys. LaRusso had a good year, I guess, with the White Sox. It's just like our presidents. We can't get anyone under 80 to manage baseball teams.
Well, they had tried. I mean, the issue always seems to be, and it's kind of interesting to me because, I'm a gut instinct guy. And yet the ultimate manager in terms of gut instinct was the first really pioneer. I mean, this guy was, Bill James in a uniform. And that was, Earl Weaver, who was brilliant with all of his stuff. I mean, he came up with ideas, the platooning in left field and all of these other things that he came up with. And yet he did manage with gut instinct, including putting Don Stanhouse in games. Remember the guy he called Full Pack? And he would smoke a full pack of cigarettes while he was on the mound. He was great. But, the question always seems to be, how is the incoming manager going to mesh sabermetrics and all of the analytics with, whatever gut instinct remains in doing that job? And, so I don't mind having a guy that is a throwback guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm jealous of the Mets because they went out and did a great job in free agency. They beat the Yankees to several plays. I mean, I wanted Starling Marte for the last year, but for some reason Cheetah wouldn't give him to the Yankees. I don't think he likes us anymore. I like Scherzer. I mean, the Mets are loaded right now. Lindor should bounce back from a lousy year. He's got talent on that team, man. The pitchers always got hurt, and obviously finally got rid of Thor, and DeGrom can't stay healthy, even though he's the best pitcher in baseball when he is. So he's got the goods, man. He's got to stay healthy, and I think the Mets going to be very dangerous this year. The Yankees made a big move yesterday, Jeff. Ask me about it.
What'd they do? They dug up Whitey Ford? What'd they do?
They got a minor league catcher. I think his name is Adolfo Duran. He's a defensive catcher. No mas.
Yeah, hands of stone.
Yeah.
His predecessor had the hands of stone.
Sanchez.
He's a great defensive catcher. No hit. But that tells you that they may go with Higgy, Kyle Higgins, the Japanese kid, and hopefully get rid of Sanchez, because it's critical. You must have a good defensive catch. Look at the Molinas over the year. Some of them can hit also, but Gary Sanchez is useless because he can't catch a fly. I mean, he's just horrible. I never seen a guy doesn't even know how to turn his glove the right way on pass balls, and also he strikes out 9 out of 10 times and hits a home run. I don't want him. I want defense behind the plate. They got to get strong up the middle. They need a shortstop. I don't want Correa, but the trader and the Astros, I guess I'll take him. And they need a center fielder besides Hicks, who is, did well in the Dominican Winter League, but he's also an injury waiting to happen. So they've done nothing. Now with baseball at a halt, they only make minor league transactions. So we'll see if the collective bargaining agreement comes together and the Yankees still make some good moves here before spring training. But right now, the Mets are stealing all the headlines on the New York Post, which I know you get religiously.
Oh yeah, I mean, I read it every day. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, look, it's a dying art. The well-rounded, interesting sports section where they cover all sports in detail. I mean, where they'll have like 2 pages worth of hockey in the middle of the sports section there. You're not seeing that anywhere else because nobody else can afford to cover anything anymore. That's the unfortunate, sad. I mean, it's a transformation. It's an age of instant information, Harvey, as you know. I mean, you've had to transition, as have we. But nonetheless, I mean, there's nothing like sitting down on the throne there with a great sports section.
Right. Well, I'm in the Miami Herald today, so, if you have to go to the bathroom, grab the Herald.
It's not enough to get me to buy it. It really isn't, Harvey, as much as we love you. I mean, your article on the junior tennis tournament would only lead me to the frustration. I used to get every newspaper except the Palm Beach Post, I guess. I think I even subscribed to the Sun Tatter at one point in time. I love newspapers and sports writing, and, it was something I always wanted to aspire to do, which I was very happy I had, an opportunity to do it, as have you. But it's a shame now. It's a disgrace what's happened with local newspapers. It really is.
That was my first full-time gig in South Florida with the Hollywood Sun-Tattler until I put them to bed. they were more of a neighborhood paper. But you're not getting
how did that sports editor for that schlepper newspaper afford that Corvette? We've always wondered about that. I think you explained it once before. Ed Playstead, remember that guy? And he was that prototypical sports writer, kind of a big fat guy that walked like he was on his way to his grave, and always had like a big mustard stain on his shirt, which he was one of the original to go with the untucked look. Because you couldn't tuck that shirt.
He could drink, man. That man could drink. So, but all great.
How many people were on his staff? Was it just you and Playstead? Because he covered like everything.
No. Mark Tomasic, and then there was a good columnist, blanking out on his name now. There was also a high school writer. About like Jeff Green, God bless him. Then he went to be sports editor at Stewart News. I worked for him for 2 years in Stewart, and sadly committed suicide. I don't know anything to do with the newspaper business, but or my writing. But we lost Jeff a long time ago. But no, it's depressing. We know the newspapers are also the watchdogs of the world. We uncover scandals, but they can't afford to hire an investigative reporter because they can't put them up in a hotel for 2 months like they used to, like the Washington Post and the Boston Globe and the New York Times can still get away with. But it's sad. I really instant gratification of the millennials. They go on their phones for their news, and I don't even think they're really reading news. I think they're just DMing and Instagramming and TikTok and all that stuff. But I don't think it's good for society. But of course, Jeff, we're getting up there, and remember our parents used to say, they hated rock and roll music. So I guess we sound like a bunch of old crustaceans.
Geezers and Caesars all over again. Yeah. All right. Well, have fun down there. We'll look for your work there. I'll try and find it online somewhere. And of course, you're going to be reporting on the Orange Bowl game, which is coming up a week from Friday. So we'll get into that with you as well, Harvey Fielkov. Have fun at the Biltmore. I don't know. How are the drinks? A little expensive there, or you got complimentary food in the press box?
They're not letting me in there. No, they don't even pay for my lunch. MiamiHeraldSports.com. /tennis. You'll see all my stories this week. Or go on the Junior Orange Bowl website, and you'll see a lot of interesting tennis stories. And I think me and you are going to shoot up the Miami Heat because they're running out of bodies, Jeff. Sad to see the whole banged up. But I say Max Struess, Duncan Robinson, horrible contract, $90 million, one-dimensional. You got to get Struess in there. Struess is on the loose. He does more than Robinson. And when Butler and Bam come back, I want to.
How about your boy Gabe Vincent, man, who surfaced with the Nigerian Olympic team?
And then he had like 20 the other day.
Exactly.
Now he's averaging like 29 a game whenever they let him play. Come on, Spo. Get this guy off the bench. All right, Harvey, we love you, man. And thanks so much for being with us. You have a Merry Christmas with the Fielkov family. As Jewish as you guys may be, I'm sure I have a dreidel hanging from my Christmas tree. I should put it in the background here. It's a good holiday. All right. Thanks, Harvey. Always a pleasure, my friend.
We're on the way to Alabama.
There you go.
Right, Happy New Year, boys.
Enjoy Alabama.
Very nice.
Alabama.
Crimson Tide, yes.
Alabama.
Orange Bowl game. Wow. Michigan, are they still getting 7 and a hook? Is that line holding steady? I want to say yes to that for some reason.
It's done any
7 and a hook. I haven't checked the price on that game for a while. The favorites prevailed in a couple of ball games yesterday, so I think it's now 7-3 against the spread for the dogs. If you're betting the college football bowl games, everybody recommended that you go ahead and take the points in every game. Polyman's grandmother's dying words to him were. And she sounded a lot like the Polyman. Take the points. A female version of the Polyman voice. I don't know if I can do that. I have to conjure it up first. But, yeah, I mean, and if you were doing that, you're doing all right so far. It's like snowflakes gently falling, before the snow becomes a problem. And you're thinking, wow, I'm in like who would it be? Robert Frost? Was he the guy appropriately writing that kind of poetry there?
Yes.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
We wrote that.
I don't know why that hit me, but no, that's a great aroma in New York. I mean, some guy that's just changed the oil in his car is serving you chestnuts from a street stand somewhere where garbage is blowing by your face in a little swirling tornado-like motion, not to mention the tragedy there in the Midwest. Wow, that is ugly what happened, huh, Lubie? In Kentucky? It's weird. I mean, it's like Hurricane Andrew-esque, not quite as large, but wow, I mean, devastating.
Tragic. Yep.
So weird, too. I mean, that really comes out of nowhere. The hurricane is one thing, you don't know exactly where it's going to hit, but for 5 days,
you have no idea. Tornadoes.
You have time to fly to Cleveland before this thing hits.
Yes.
If that was your desire. But, wow, tornadoes, out of nowhere in the dark. All right, speaking of which, we're going to fire out of nowhere in the dark in the next hour of the program here on Ion Channel. The Defo Show, Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubie, Lubitz. A couple of more NFL games on tap tonight.
Yes.
Which
every day.
We should formulate some kind of opinion. Hockey suspended. That was a mix-up. We were talking about that Lawrence Taylor thing the other day on the show, where he's arrested because he's registered as a sex offender for one of his plea deals that he made many years ago with that thing with the 16-year-old in a hotel in upstate New York. What are you doing, LT? Huh? He's one of those guys that does a lot of things that you look at and it's hard to condone, and then you think, well, you're rooting for the guy.
Yeah, it sucks.
Is that not true? Not just because he was like a sports star. I don't know. Would you think that he was like some kind of slimeball scumbag if he wasn't the greatest linebacker and maybe defensive player of all time in the NFL, LT?
I mean, he pushed the limit on a lot of things, but then I've met him a couple times and he's always fun. So it's like,
yeah, he's been great, very personable.
You're conflicted. I mean,
kind of guy with demons that you somehow find yourself rooting for, and you're thinking, oh no, not again. But the headlines were a big splash, and that's where it goes today. Yep. LT arrested on sex offender charge, sexual assault charge.
Yeah, I mean,
which was the original, whatever it was that he pled to. It was some kind of thing that they had to make up, at the time. Oh, okay, here's what it's going to be. Yeah. It's going to be crossing state lines with the intention to have sex with a minor while under the influence of marijuana. Okay, that's going to be a $500 fine and 6 years probation. So he had to register as a sex offender, and apparently, I don't know, the story was that the cops, he was having problems. He was living at his main residence, but he's getting divorced, so things got a little dicey. So the cops suggested, why don't you stay in a hotel, Mr. Ted?
Get out. Yeah, which is smart.
And then, I don't know who checked up on him to see if he was there, but that was living by a different address.
He wasn't living.
The opinion of the court. So they arrested him and threw him in jail and let him out on a $500 bond.
Okay, whatever.
But a splash of headlines like, oh, no, not LT, not again. After you made us, fall in love with you all over again with that interview that he did with us on Radio Row at the Super Bowl. And you thought, yeah, how could you not root for this guy? So I was, you're naturally disappointed. You see something like that, and then I don't know. Is it much ado about nothing, Lubie?
That's what it feels like. Yes, he was trying to do the smart thing, and by technicality, he didn't do the right thing.
Yeah, I would
It's
think.
better to stay
it's,
at home because that's not a good thing. To stay with a woman that you're not happy living with, that
Yeah.
won't end well.
No, that can lead to problems. Trust me.
That won't end well at all. You need to get the fuck
Yeah.
out of that house.
No,
So
it doesn't always work.
It's a smart thing.
Maybe she's, I'm not saying, who's right or
I
wrong,
don't know,
but, it happens where the guy's being provoked
get out of the house.
in those spots, and there's nothing he can do. He can't go anywhere, right? You just have to sit there and take it. After a while, hey. But I think they pick up the flag in this case, no? If you want to put this in Louis Riddick football terminology, they got to take that hanky right off the ground. Okay, Lou.
Yeah, okay.
That's a hard thing. I mean, they have never figured it out, Monday Night Football, huh? But we don't want all of this technical analysis. We really don't. We want somebody who's entertaining in
fun.
the booth there.
Someone who's fun.
They tried it. Dennis Miller, they tried to make him a technical analyst.
Yeah, that's a problem.
What is wrong with the people there? Yeah.
The fun people come in and then they're not fun. It's like, no, just you be fun. Be fun, and then the other person can talk football.
Zero entertainment quotient in that broadcast because Brian Greasy says nothing. I mean, you can't even distinguish if he's talking at all, can you, during the broadcast? I don't know that he's good or bad because I don't know anything that he said. Nothing. And the other guy's babbling away. And you're thinking, this can't be that sophisticated of a thing to figure out, right? A big fat guy got a handoff. He tripped into another fat guy, fell forward for a half a yard. The ball landed, he has it under his stomach, so it's not a fumble. And that's it, right? Two fat guys colliding, man. It's sumo wrestling, my friend. Might be more technically, and you're watching that, and they're going crazy about how great these guys are, the sumo wrestlers I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And you think, what are they doing? Nothing. It's two really fat slobs with greasy hair leaning on each other. And the guy's giving you, oh, my God, I tell you what. Sochi has really done something here. Sochi, that's a city. I don't know if that's like a name of a Japanese sumo wrestler, but it could be. Anyway, we're going to have to get into sumo wrestling to make a living if we continue on this path. So we'll come back with more. We'll change directions next hour of the program here, the Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He's Mike Lubitz, Eye on Channel. Always great to be here on Eye on Channel. Don't forget about our friends at Gulfstream Park. Also, championship meet is on. Special scheduling for the holidays with post times and everything. So make sure you're aware of all of that. You can get that information at GulfstreamPark.com. Or better still, just make your plans to be out there for any of the activity because there's going to be big stakes racing going on. And it's just a real spectacle out there. Very majestic. We always loved going out there when we were doing the radio shows on site. And we love representing these people because they do a fine job. Billy Badgett and the people there on the horse racing side. They came up with a solution, right? They don't have to take those races, worry about them coming off the turf and like 11 horses scratch, Libby. Put that synthetic in at great expense. And we're very careful about that. So far, everybody seems to feel like it's a very fair surface. Races coming off the grass, boom, right on the synthetic. The whole field stays pretty much intact. So that's just one of the things that they've done at Gulfstream Park to make sure that they have the best product anywhere in the racing world, especially here during the championship meet. Make your plans to be out there. You'll probably see. Check for Mayo at Christine Lee's, huh? That's a nice little hang. Lubie, you want to go for that with Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet?
I love Christine Lee's. I've never done it with Mayo. Shirley and I went one time. It was amazing. The food's great.
Yeah, he's always got like an assortment of appetizers there, and he's a big fan of the ribs. So, and you'll see him sucking down a couple of cocktails, and just great stuff. And you're plunging screen to screen with a machine right there in the restaurant. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's an innovative concept. But Village of Gulfstream Park, always a great entertainment destination. Make your plans, clear your social calendar, especially during the holidays. A lot of festive stuff going on in conjunction with that at Gulfstream Park. All right, we're coming back with more. We'll take you up until 9 o'clock today, Eastern Time, here on the Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He is Mike Lubitz, and we'll return in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:08 on the East Coast. Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time? When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo for Even Keel Fish Shack, corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard at Lauderdale by the Sea. It's my favorite place now for great seafood in a casual beachfront setting. They've got happy hour 4 to 7 Monday through Friday. They've got great dishes like grilled oysters and oysters on the half shell, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, octopus. They also have burgers and chicken for those who don't like the seafood. They're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack. Go say hi to Dave and Brad and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone when you can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side?
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. You know, people don't like being lied to. That's always the thing. With Pete Rose, if he had just said, of course I bet the Reds. What are you talking about? I had money on every game. We know you did, Pete. It's all right. I mean, now it'd be accepted. In fact, they would have, it's only a matter of time before the manager of the two teams is asked who he likes in the game. All right, we're going down on the field there. We got Tony La Russa. Tony, what do you think tonight? White Sox minus 135? Well, you know, we're going to go to the pen right away, and I'm going to make like 7 righty-lefty switches at inappropriate times, and I'm going to wear out my bullpen. In fact, all of these guys worked in the game last night, so I would think this. I would take the points, take the runs, and take the price on the Boston Red Sox tonight to beat us. I would not lay 135 to win 100 on the Chicago White Sox. Okay, thanks, Tony. Let's go to Alex Cora. Cora, what do you got? Well, you know, we got all our heavy hitters at the beginning of the lineup tonight, and they really pound this White Sox pitcher the last time he was out there. So I would think that we're a good bet, money line, straight up. When's that going to happen? I mean, that's going to be part of the pregame shows now.
Enjoy your trip to work with lots of laughs thanks to Defo and Lubie. Now on the Defo Show.
It essentially is already entrenched in these pregame shows. The NFL Network, they're from the FanDuel set on the NFL Network. They had, I think, 3 former players were up and were yapping about the ball game. The 5 o'clock game, which is kind of unique, right? I'm normally a fan of watching the news around 5 o'clock when I'm home, which is most of the time now. Hey, you old man, do you ever go out anymore? No, I'm still running around a little bit. I'm very happy with the entertainment scene here in South Florida. But nonetheless, probably not as inclined, especially with early morning wake-up hours. You know, Jack may be onto something here. Why do we do this so early in the morning, Louie? because we're too lame to be responsible to do it later in the day. No, I mean, it's morning drive on the East Coast, right? For our audio listeners, I mean, they get to plug this thing in.
Like the morning.
And do people still have car radios, Lubie? Or
Yes, they do. But
everything's driven by their phone. You just plug the thing in. You got Ion channel plugged in. This Doug does a marvelous job. He's got us streaming on like 112 audio channels around the world. It's great.
Okay.
Big following with Asian people who get the translation of the show later on in a written transcript. And they find it fascinating what we do in terms of our perspective on the sporting world. But anyway, good to be with you during this holiday week. Jeff Deforrest and Mike Lubitz with you until 9 o'clock Eastern time. But, and very happy with the way things are working out. And you can catch the video portion of the show on Ion Channel. All you have to do, and that's EYE. That's the thing that everybody gets confused about, right? I don't know why people fetch about that right away. As soon as you throw like even the slightest bit of a breaking ball at them, right? Not even a big time Burt Blyleven curveball, just the slightest bit of a breaking ball. And they're like, hey, what do I do? So Ion Channel, it's EYEonchannel.com. You catch the video portion of the show. You see what we look like while we're doing this thing, which oftentimes it's a mess. It really is. But every guy on the pregame show last night, they have 3 former football players. They all picked the Browns to win the game, straight up. Which, and you're looking at that going, my God. What is the point of this? I just determined to bury people. And then, as I said, that is followed by Steve Mariucci, Mooch, getting up on a platform there with like a Lombardi chalkboard and a pointer, whatever that thing was. Remember, what was it I called? It was called a pointer, right?
Yes.
Where the teacher had the thing and would point to something on the blackboard.
Yes.
You guys better remember this. Who remembers any of it? I mean, did you ever apply Pythagorean theorem to anything?
Oh, no.
Never, right? So what was the point?
No clue.
Those calculus equations that were impossible to solve. I mean, what did I ever do with that? I guess if you became an engineer, it'd be useful. But what percentage of the people that you knew in your high school became structural engineers? Let's hope zero.
A couple did well, but I mean, like one kid went to Georgia Tech, but it was very rare. It was less than a handful.
I don't know. I would imagine, yeah, there were probably some technical people in my past there, but I certainly wasn't one of them. So what a waste of time it was for me to sit there in those math classes and agonize and get D's and F's over stuff that is completely, was rendered as useless as baseball statistics in the steroid era became, where, a guy had 27 home runs and led the league one year. And, it wasn't happening anymore. These records were being obliterated.
Yep.
All of the power statistics went right out the window there. And, of course, pitching stats also changed dramatically in the steroid era. And so what happened? The most sacred thing about the game of baseball, this was, the treasure chest of the game was its statistical nature. And, the comparisons that could be made as a result. And then all of those got washed out, right? Tsunami time. As Victor Conti came on the scene and said, you know what, Barry? They're embarrassing you with your 30 stinking home runs every year.
Exactly.
One shot of this shit. What was the guy's name? Greg, the workout
Greg
guy?
Anderson, your favorite, Greg Anderson. The guy that never spoke ever.
Oh, man, you talk about a loyal friend. I hope he's living on an island next to DiCaprio. Somewhere in the Virgin Islands, like an undiscovered island. Even the cruise ships haven't found this joint. It's not even on any, any maps, any nautical maps. That would be the thing. Greg Anderson never spilled the beans on Barry Bonds all of those years. Does anybody out there have a friend like that? Or do you think that Barry always had the stipulation that, listen, Greg, because could you trust Barry Bonds? That would be another question. How trustworthy do you think Barry Bonds would be? Usually when a guy is a dick, he's not trustworthy. He's just as inclined to tell you and assure you that everything is going to be okay, even though you have no assurances, Lubie. It's kind of like that radio deal that we had that was written on a napkin, right? No assurances that the new guys were really going to abide by the same principles that the old guys who you were cool with. This happens in any business, does it not? No assurances whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, contracts don't mean anything.
Yeah. So anyway, just an absolute mess out there too on the sporting front. As I mean, COVID-19, I really was. I was startled. Brett Tester, who's not going to be able to be with us today, the agent of the Stars, and his presence always brought to you by well and trusted attorney Michael D. Wild. When I mentioned Wild's name to that Fugazi doctor that asked me if I had a will in place, right away they backed off.
Yeah, they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're in good hands. Moish, forget it. He doesn't need. He doesn't need a will. You believe they had a guy on site that would draw up a will for you right there while you were in the waiting room there? You got your blood pressure. Yeah, it looks pretty good. 128/80.
Yeah, they're like, we got another one. Come on.
Every room, right? People are coming out of there like, okay, yeah, I want to leave 50,000 to the grandchildren.
Doctor / attorney.
I mean, how can I possibly draw up any kind of a will? Because, I mean, who knows what kind of raw shape I might be in on that judgment day. Could be anything. With the way things are going at the horse track, my God. There's nothing left. No, he left you everything, but there's nothing.
Well, that's what's good. Jesse is already knows that. Like Jesse's aware. Yeah, I don't expect shit.
Yeah, I mean, if like a year after I check out, you see the Mustang serving beer at Stingers,
it won't be shocking at all.
You know, I didn't have much
All right.
in terms of wherewithal. Anyway, Tester, when he said that COVID-19, COVID was going to be the big issue in the NFL, you thought he was crazy, didn't you? Didn't you think he was like a little paranoid about that?
It was like
this year, right? It seemed like everything we shall overcome. That had all been overcome. The whole issue. Stadiums were packed. I mean, those drooling hillbillies at Clemson, first game of the year. Was that at Clemson or Georgia? It wouldn't have mattered. They would be filling the stands with drooling hillbillies either way, right?
Yeah. I think it was like Dallas. I think that was in like the Jerry.
That might have been a neutral site. Yeah, Jerry's place.
Jerry World.
And that was a prelim to a Manny Pacquiao fight. They had like Clemson and Georgia there, and then Pacquiao fought some stiff. The Jerry had brought to Dallas, and enriched with a very favorable purse to go ahead and take a proverbial beating from the great Manny Pacquiao. But yeah, I mean, you didn't think it was going to be this big of a problem where they're shutting down leagues again, and games are almost totally contingent. There were a lot of factors that go into betting a football game. But would you say that you have learned that over the years, Lubie? You used to think it was just like flip a coin. But now, and I don't know that it makes a difference. I mean, it may be no more effective than, to take this so-called educated opinion than flipping a coin, right? Because what would you have thought about last night's game? You would have figured the Browns would get smeared, like a bagel and cream cheese.
Yeah, with the injuries, with all the COVID crap. Yeah, they
had nothing.
First quarterback that wasn't on the roster like the week before.
Kosar was seen around the stadium,
Bernie's warming up.
He was. I mean, he's getting closer. He's in a commercial there, one of those Baker Mayfield Home Depot commercials. Is that what he's hawking? Home Depot?
He's in like 5 different things. He's in like 3 or 4. The one with the
How did that happen, by the way? How did Baker Mayfield become that guy?
Exactly. He never got that big, and he's now been for 2 to 3 years a guy no one trusts.
Imagine the money Johnny Manziel could have made as an endorser.
Well, in college.
If he's making money on endorsements anyway, Johnny Manziel. If he was any good, right? If he had panned out as a pro.
Oh, and the Browns? Oh, my God.
Man, that organization has been searching longer than the Miami Dolphins. I mean, in Tua, we have the equivalent of the second coming of Marino compared to almost anything that they have done, the Cleveland Browns, in terms of getting a competent quarterback back there. And they have messed it up to proportions that you can't believe.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, you could have all of the factors in the world going into that ball game and never come up with the Cleveland Browns as the winner of that game, or even getting 3. You would have figured that was not a generous enough allotment of points to give you any chance whatsoever, not even the slightest bit of a prayer, Lubie, of winning that game. And if you watch the opening moments of that game all the way through the half, which I did see. You thought to yourself, my God, well, what a slaughter this is going to be. I left the house thinking that game was going to be 30-3, Las Vegas Raiders.
It felt like it.
And it ended up being a nail-biter, right down to the final seconds there with a game-winning 48-yard field goal, which, that saved a lot of people that were insane enough. How could you possibly bet the Browns? You have to factor in the Fauci factor, do you not? Used to be able to consider home field. Okay, you got a home dog in the NFL. That's always a good play. You knew certain things were true. Like John Harbaugh has an amazing percentage against the spread in preseason games. And obviously, that is one of the reasons that he's on the lunatic fringe now in terms of, strategies.
Yeah.
Why don't we just bury ourselves right here? Okay, John.
Go for it.
Calm
You
down.
don't want a chance to have multiple plays to win. Go now.
Let's just go. Yeah. We give the ball to Aaron Rodgers. It's over. They had just sacked this guy like, he was a garbage can being hit by a truck. And, knocked them to the ground there and got the 3 and out they needed to put themselves in a position to, go ahead and tie the game. Pretty incredible, this NFL play and the way strategies go down. So, that was a rough one last night. I can't imagine, and you would have been schwitzing your brains out if you saw the early portion of that game. But every guy on the FanDuel pregame set picked the Browns to win that game straight up. Picked the Browns. Even there was one player who I couldn't identify, but he was a former Raider. I guess would have been associated as a Raider, and he even picked the Browns in this game. So why do they put these fools up to this? That's the crazy thing. No point spread factored in also, which is an atrocity, is it not? And then here's the FanDuel thing, and here comes the mooch saying, hey, listen, if you're busting out here every night and you feel like a heroin addict and you can't go 1 minute without making a bet,
Maybe.
you might want to check in with some help. Gamble responsibly.
FanDuel.
Brought to you by FanDuel. Yeah.
Gamble responsibly. FanDuel.
They want you doing everything, right? They want you playing fantasy, horses. They want you playing football, college football, women's high school football, whatever it is that you can bet on. If anything moves, 2 cockroaches in the sink. Hey, there goes the light. The bell goes off. I have the one. Well, here they're big enough to put numbers on their backs. That's for sure. You might be able to. Maybe we can come up with something very exciting. That we put on YouTube there and invent a new game that people can wager on. We'll get FanDuel behind us, and then that's it. We don't have to do this anymore.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, we're coming back with more here. Having a good time with you on Ion Channel. IonChannel.com is where you catch us. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz with you. The Defo Show. As we will continue, we'll be with you until 9 o'clock Eastern here this morning. Some special holiday arrangements made for next week following Christmas. And, we'll get into, I don't know, do we do any of that year-ender stuff? Just the people who checked out here, man. This is some list.
Yeah, the list sucks. Remember, last year was crazy with a lot of, baseball players, and this year it's just equally sad.
What was it, 2 years ago that we lost some local icons here, right? Shula, Angelo
That was
Dundee,
last year, Schnellenberger and Shula.
This just passed, 2021?
It was 2020. It was 2020.
2020, yeah, because they didn't make the list of guys who checked out in 2021.
Yeah.
And, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, another guy that we lost. Hagler, a young guy, man. He was like 60, I think.
Yeah, sucks.
Head of granite, my God. Who had more of a granite head? Was it Evander Holyfield or Marvelous Marvin Hagler? I'm going to go the all-time granite head in boxing history was Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
I'd say Hagler.
Hearns broke his hand. The first punch hit this thing. It was like hitting a brick. May as well just be using some big rock in Yellowstone National Park as a punching bag. I mean, crazy. Granite head. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I don't remember him ever suffering a cut either in his boxing career. Right? He could get face raked with the laces by Roberto Duran. No problem, man. Looks great. The Petronellis didn't have to do anything but make sure those hair pieces didn't blow off if the fight was outside. All right, we're coming. Worst hair pieces in boxing history, I think. Maybe in sports history. The Petronellis, who were the managers and trainers for Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I don't know if you ever take a look at a Hagler fight. Look in the corner there. You'll see one of the worst hair pieces ever in the history of pieces. All right, back with more. Bill Self, man. I mean, how did he do that, Lubie? He still has his
real. You have to debate his. That's why his isn't like the worst ever, because you have to do a fine-tooth comb research to figure out that his is fake.
You always wonder when a guy just puts like a muskrat on his head and then looks in the mirror and goes, yeah, that looks good. Okay. Here I come, world. All right, coming back with more in a moment. I'm Jeff Deforrest. Don't forget about our friends at Destination Sport Miami, man. That thing is humming along, huh? Down there in Doral, Lubie?
Yeah, come right along.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a monster and the largest indoor multifaceted sports facility anywhere in North America, and a fine team put together. I keep becoming more and more impressed with Randy Moss.
Yes.
I think it helped that we met him and got a little feel for the guy.
And with Jordan Jefferson last night, or Justin Jefferson, is it Justin Jefferson, Jordan Jefferson? Like last night was really cool when he was talking to him about the Pro Bowl and stuff. Like that was really cool.
They're announcing these Pro Bowl guys. Did the season end? Did I miss it? How do you do that before the season concludes? Name the guys for the Pro Bowl. Like Brady's already in.
They're doing it like now. Yeah, they're doing it like now.
What's the point of that? Do we have any idea?
I don't know. They're still like, shouldn't these?
How do you know the guy's not going to throw 11 picks in his last 3 games and bury the Tampa Bay defending Super Bowl champion Buccaneers to the point where Gene Deckeroff is rendered speechless. He can't believe it. This collapse. And that guy's in the Pro Bowl? What are the odds that Brady goes at 44? 0.0. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment here. Don't forget about Destination Sport Miami, though. Randy Moss is on the squad there of people among their advisors and going to be leading their football programs. Glenn Rice, G Money on basketball. Really quality people. Jill Ellis, is a World Cup winning coach with the U.S. national team a couple of times. Won a couple of World Cups, Women's World Cups. Yep. And she's the one that's advising the soccer program. So you get expertise. Brian Trottier on pucks, 4-time straight Stanley Cup champion with the New York Islanders. Part of a great, great team, an iconic team in sports history. Those championship New York Islanders. Al Arbor, man, he's put together an unbelievable squad. Right? Bill Torrey, man. Wasn't Torrey the GM for that team? Unbelievable job that they did. And came down here and actually got the Panthers off to a pretty festive start. Under impossible circumstances, and so that was great stuff. And that was all Brian Trottier's background in hockey, so he's going to be a big asset to Destination Sport Miami as well. Check it out on the web if you're interested. It's going to be a great business opportunity. Destination Sport Miami, the largest indoor multifaceted sports facility anywhere in North America, is coming to Doral. All right, we're coming back with more here on the program with you for another half hour or so. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz on Ion Channel, ionchannel.com. Just Google the Defo Show and streaming around the world on audio, courtesy of our man, Doug. And we thank, again, all of the people here at Ion Channel for putting this whole thing together. Looking forward to big things in 2022 and back with more here as we close out 2021 in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Guess I'm a few days ahead of myself. I mean, it's not even Christmas yet, Defo. Come on, you're already closing out the year.
We're almost there. 2 more days.
The holidays are here. That's all we can say.
Hey there, it's Mike Mayo. Do you like steaks? Do you like seafood? Do you like classic old Florida charm? You can get that all and more at Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of 95. The Studi Alley family, they've been running the place a long time. It's been there more than 70 years. And it is now a place you can get early bird specials along with steaks to take home and throw on the grill yourself at the Butcher Shop. That's open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. It's open for dinner every night starting at 4:30, but they are closed on Sundays. Go to Tropical Acres. It's a place to go for a great meal, great people, good value. Tropical Acres.
The championship meet is right around the corner at Gulfstream Park. The only place for live racing, Gulfstream's action has never been hotter. Whether it's on the track, in the casino, or part of the dining and entertainment offered at the Village of Gulfstream Park. Currently running Thursday through Sunday, Gulfstream's racing package is the best in the country, with all the top horses and people in the game pointing towards another tremendous winter season. Check out the remodeled first floor casino, open 7 days and nights a week, along with the many special events and concerts happening at Gulfstream Park. You can place your wagers from anywhere at firstbet.com. Check the calendar of events at gulfstreampark.com. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development, and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Since day one of Old School, we've had Catholic Health Services be part of our family. They are recognized as the quintessential rehab facility in the Southeast for strokes, but it goes well beyond strokes, because Catholic Health Services is in the community of South Florida to help the community stay healthy. And if they're not healthy, get them healthy and get them back on their feet quicker than they could have ever expected. They do it every single day. It's step and repeat, 24/7. Catholic Health Services.
Buy or lease a Taos and take it to the house at Deal Volkswagen. Anna and her team make your next VW purchase or lease so easy, with new inventory rolling in daily and the biggest selection of certified pre-owned vehicles in the business. You can make your deal online at dealvolkswagen.com or visit the beautiful showroom in the classic location, 3601 Bird Road, right in the heart of the Gables. Or give Anna and the team at Deal a call at 305-448-DEEL. Jettas, Passats, Tiguans, Atlas models, and the hottest vehicle in the industry, the new Taos, all at unbeatable prices and all ready to roll off the showroom floor at the #1 Volkswagen dealership around, Deal Volkswagen. Robert Klein, a pleasure. Huge fans and been bombarded with messages and texts attesting to your brilliance and how much they have enjoyed your work over the years, and still outstanding. Thanks so much. I don't know if you have 1 second real quick.
Yeah.
The Bronx Olympics would look like what? I called a friend of mine and I asked him if he was watching the fencing, and he said he thought that involved moving stolen merchandise. But the Bronx Olympics, so what would be the #1 event?
The #1 event would be the shout. Who could shout, yo, hey, yo?
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Good morning once again, everybody. Great to be with you here on Ion Channel, the Defo Show. I'm Jeff Deforrest. He is Michael Lubitz. And Robert Klein, very funny man. Did a lot of different things there. The Bronx Olympics, that is true. If they had the Bronx Olympics and you mentioned, hey, are you going to watch the fencing? They really would have thought that was about moving stolen merchandise. And probably would be more interesting in the Olympics if they did it. What are they doing about Beijing there? They found this Chinese tennis player. I mentioned that yesterday, and she has resurfaced on a video where she is denying that she ever alleged that there was any kind of sexual assault on behalf of this Chinese diplomat, whoever it was, government official. And all of a sudden, her story has changed completely, even though, I don't know, have we seen her surface anywhere where she was on her own? I guess she was traveling somewhere when this video was made, but her story has changed dramatically. It's Pentansley testimony time since she first made this allegation, and I don't know, what did they do to her? I mean, do we have any idea? So are people actually that up in arms about this, that they would really do something? Because the Winter Games, which pale in comparison, I guess what's focused in on in the Winter Games. We're never any good at the Winter Games, the United States.
We don't I'm trying to think of what's something that
skating would be one thing that people really get into.
The downhill used to be a big deal. I don't know if they still give a shit about the downhill.
Yeah, but we never have a guy like Franz Klammer or somebody that's going to dominate that thing. We always have guys that are like any of the South Florida teams. They turn out to be bitter disappointments, right? Here's Bonnie Miller. I tell you what, if he can get a bronze here, that would really mean a lot for his momentum going into 2026.
Oh, he's going short.
I don't know. He's not skiing anymore.
No,
not sure. Occasionally we have a decent skier. Yeah, we had Lindsey Vonn. I mean, she was outstanding. I don't know what her Olympic record was. Peekaboo Smith, remember her?
Peekaboo Street.
Peekaboo Street, yeah. She did some damage there as a skier.
Yep.
Well, we never were any good though on any of that other stuff, the weird stuff like cross country skiing, the
The
biathlon.
ski shooting. That's my favorite one, where they ski downhill and then they shoot something.
Eric Heiden was an outstanding speed skater. He dominated an
Speed
Olympic
skating
Games.
was a big deal back in the day. Yes.
Speed skating, yeah. You occasionally get that guy that's been skating on a pond in Minnesota since he was 2.
Bonnie Blair.
And, Bonnie Blair was very good, but in general, we suck in the Winter Games.
Yes.
So there's,
As well.
very little interest in that, unless there's like Peggy Fleming or
The figure skating. You used to have at least 1 or 2 people figure skating that would be impressive and
would attract attention. There's no doubt. But I mean, we're diplomatically boycotting the Olympic Games, which means all those dignitaries on freebies won't be going over to Beijing. In protest of what? I mean, the atrocities, the inhumane, conditions over there that in general people are living under.
Yes.
So
people bad.
Okay. Doesn't sound good, but we don't care, right? NHL is not going to go, but not because of any consideration politically or in terms of philosophies, but strictly because they're worried about COVID-19, and they had to shut the league down now until I think Christmas Day at the earliest, which isn't that far away, Lubie, is it? I mean, is that really going to be enough? That's all it is to vanquish this pandemic once and for all from creeping its way and influencing sports at the levels that it is right now, with like 15% of I think it's 15% of NFL players are COVID positive at this point.
Jesus,
15%.
That's
quite a few, right? I mean, that's in excess of a couple of hundred, right?
Yep. It's a lot.
Unbelievable.
I mean, in the NBA, it feels like almost everyone. The NFL, like it's crazy. It's just nuts.
Insane, to think that is happening right now. But nonetheless, it is. And I would imagine that would even, exacerbate concerns about sending a contingent to the Olympic Games in Beijing at this point in time.
Should.
So I haven't seen any official word on that. I would imagine it'll all be about the fabulous moolah in the long run, and that the United States will be sending whatever team it has assembled over there. Have you heard anything about any Winter Olympian? With the Winter Olympics, I think are they 2 weeks
February.
away, Libby? What is the deal on that?
Isn't it usually February? I don't know.
February, yeah, okay.
Usually February.
Usually you'd be seeing some kind of thing on NBC talking about how great it is, where they only have a favorable view of what's going on in China. They show people, dining with their families and everything is nice. They're going to shows.
And then they would show.
Is everything a fraud? I mean, what is going on in this world today? I want to believe in something, Louie. Let me believe in something, please. I believe in Santa Claus before I believe in a lot of the stuff that goes on out there. That it's even remotely on the level, which you could have brought into question last night with the officiating in that Vikings game against the Chicago Bears. Just atrocious, Lubie. The officials, were they instructed to become way more influential, way more intrusive in these games? Because it seems like they're going out of their way to ruin every possible circumstance that could take place in a football game where a defense finally rises to the occasion. How deflating is that to get a bogus personal foul call? Now, I understand it. They're trying their best to protect quarterbacks. So you blow on a guy and you're going to get flagged. Correct?
I think some of them are stupid. And I get it, the quarterback. Without the quarterbacks, as we saw last night, the play is really horrible and it's really boring to watch. So you need your quarterbacks out there. I understand that from an entertainment standpoint. But it's nice to play a little defense. The guys are scared to tackle the quarterback. What the hell's the point?
It's insane. I mean, every play that was of significance in the game last night, going against the Bears defense, had a personal foul flag. They would come up with a big stop, and finally it looked like, okay, no matter how many times you give the ball to this anemic offense and Justin Fields, who was supposed to be the big steal of the draft, oh my God, can you believe it? They got Fields.
That's what I thought.
How do we feel about Mac Jones? Has his stock dropped at all with the couple of losses now that the Patriots have been tagged with?
They love him. He and Herbert are impervious.
Well, they won that one game where he didn't throw any passes, so that was a win. But then they lost last week to the Colts.
And he actually played well. He didn't play well. He had a horrible first half. He had a good second half, and then they came up just short versus the Colts. I don't know. He seems to be impervious to negative stuff. Tua didn't have a good game. I was very open about how frustrated I was by Tua. But still, I mean, he's been
Tua got away with murder.
He's been
he really did. He got away with a lot. I mean, there were. It's the Jets. You have to consider, like a
Yes, of
bad team will
course.
find a way to discombobulate. That's what happened with the Chicago Bears last night. I mean, so many times they were moving the football and everything was going well, and came away with El Zippo. Just incredible ineptitude on the offensive side of the field. And then on top of that, they exacerbated that situation by committing any number of really, it would seem like stupid penalties if there was some foundation of reality in the calls. But some phantom calls. I mean, this guy, Nagy, he has to be ready to just absolutely take a cyanide
Well,
cap.
he's done. Well, and then they show with Ryan Pace, the GM, who's been dreadful. It's like the two of them.
He has them in a situation where, they need to dig up George Hallis if they ever want to be good again. You talk about snookered. They have no shot. Mike Tannenbaum looks like a genius. He looks like Branch Rickey as a GM. Compared to whatever this guy did to bury the Bears. I mean, they kept pointing it out, and they kept showing this shot of this poor guy in the booth there as his team is just looking absolutely pathetic on the field. The fact that they were even in this game maybe speaks volumes about how watered down the National Football League might be at this point. And I'm not sure exactly why, whether it's, the in-and-out nature of what's gone on with the talent so far, whether it's the arduous idea of playing a couple of preseason games, having no practice coming into the season, and then trying to play 17, grinding out across 18 weeks, Lubie. Not sure. You know what? When they shortened fights to 12 rounds, that seemed to make a little bit of a difference. I think you saw a drop in the percentage of ring fatalities. I don't know. I'm sure there have been some, and I've seen some documented, but and maybe it was just because it wasn't as high profile as, say, a Boom Boom Mancini fight or, some of the tragedies that occurred in the ring. But it did seem like when they knocked the fights down from 15 to 12, the championship fights, that it actually did some good in that direction. Is that possible to say that? I mean, it's not like based on scientific evidence that I have. That's for sure.
Less fighting will be better, but that's what's great about the NFL. They're like, let's add more games.
Very violent game. I mean, when you really look at it. 340-pound, 6-foot lineman landing smack on you as you're falling backwards and plants you right on your back, and you're a quarterback that's going about 2 1/4. You have to be kidding me. That can't be pleasant and necessarily good for later in life bodily functions. How many organs you got left there, Joe? Quite a sacrifice. Whatever money these guys get paid, you would have to say in the National Football League that they're probably earning it. Although, there are any number of plays, Lubie, where you see guys just like standing around doing nothing.
Yes.
And you're thinking, wow, I could do that. Like nothing's happening. The routine run up the middle. What are the cornerbacks doing? Nothing, right? They're looking at a guy that's running a phantom pattern there. They know he's not going out for a pass. So, I don't know. It does seem like, maybe if you're in there for how many snaps in an NFL game? If you're on the field for 50 snaps, does that seem like if in 25 of those snaps you're not even involved in the play? Making some easy money.
I don't think you do nothing for 25 plays. You're doing something.
All right. Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill. I'm so excited about what's going on with John Kajemi, Big Chill, the Big Chill expedition that we're going to have. I don't know how all the arrangements are going to go yet, so we'll figure that out. But you know us, we try to do this on the fly. I'll be calling Jack at the last second there. We'll be on our way to the Keys. Hey, Jack, you bringing the truck? No, Jimmy's going to be waiting. Come on. I thought I told you.
We can't do it that way. That can't happen.
You think we have to have this pretty much prearranged?
This has to be planned. Yes, this has to. Please,
right.
This has to be planned.
Do I look particularly orange today on this shot, though?
I wasn't going to do it on air, but something with either your lighting, with the video camera light. I don't know if it's shut off again or I don't know. But
no, it's fine. No, it seems fine. I don't know. Nothing's different here.
And other days.
Right. Jack says I look like a pumpkin on the show today. You might be right.
There's an orange hue to you, yes. I noticed that early on. I was like, maybe he's doing the Kajemi.
I don't know what to do about it. I really, this is beyond my technical capabilities to fix that. I mean, I just turn this stuff on every day.
I mean, we have to.
You think those stadium lights in the background there might be able to help, but
we'll get your new studio set up nice.
Well, we apologize, for the orange tinge.
It's fall.
I assure you, yes, it's not some form of jaundice. I feel pretty healthy. Did the Walk of Life yesterday and played a couple of sets of tennis at night. So, I mean, things all still functioning here, right? Even past 70. I'm actually like 70 and a hook, I think, pretty soon here.
Yes, yes, you are.
When we get to like January 5th.
That's halfway.
Oh, that's a sad number. You know what I got that's a little disturbing, because I started to go through this list of obituaries there that we had from sports celebrities and figures
over the year
in 2021, and Hank Aaron, Floyd Little, Paul Westphal, Lasorda, Don Sutton, right?
Yeah.
Sekou Smith, we told that story. John Chaney, remember John Chaney?
Yes, Chaney.
Yep. Pedro Gomez, the guy that was following.
Gomez was this year. See, I felt like Gomez was a while ago. That's crazy. That was this year too. Jeez.
Yeah. Pitcher Grant Jackson, I remember, and that was back in the old days. Tony Trabert, the tennis legend, became a commentator. Leon Spinks, very sad. Wow, I mean, just all kinds. Marty Schottenheimer.
Oh, Schottenheimer.
Another one.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you don't want to be checking out, but I got this thing from Syracuse University. I get this monthly magazine. I guess it comes out every couple of months. And they sent it to all the alumni, hoping that you made some kind of a score in your lifetime and that you're willing to part with a lot of your money because you need to cover your certain tracks there for tax purposes. So why not give the money to the school? But I always check right away the in memoriam column. And there are more and more guys from my class listed, it seems like, in every edition of this. I didn't necessarily know any of them because, I mean, like, thousands of people went there. I've known a few in the past, guys that people I went to college with that have already checked out, Lubie. So you would have to say that as we close out the show today on Ion Channel, it's good to know that you're on borrowed time, everybody. Aren't we all? Even with the jaundice.
I was going to say, who's not? Jaundice is yellow. You don't look jaundice. You look orange, but not jaundice. I don't know what disease is orange.
I had this, stuff that I put in my water there, and it was a particularly rich orange color. So maybe that had some influence on it. I drank a lot of it last night. Orange tangerine. Mio, it's called. You ever use that stuff? It's great.
I know you like.
We should get them as a sponsor.
There you go,
I probably am keeping them in business myself here because I don't know that I can handle like regular water anymore. Although this stuff supposedly doesn't put anything in it that wouldn't be inherent in drinking just quality, fresh, straight out of the stream water, right? If you were somewhere in the mountains. All right, we're coming back to wrap things up. Hopefully, I'll still be with you guys. Jeff Deforrest, Mike Lubitz with you. The Defo Show on Ion Channel, ionchannel.com. That's where you find us, and you can Google the Defo Show. All of the shows are there. It's a lot of fun. Audio streaming, video streaming around the world. And we'll come back and wrap up this Tuesday edition of the program. Tomorrow we go old school with Tony Segreto. That's a lot of fun. And on Thursday, we will have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And then some special holiday programming is on tap here. Don't know exactly what they have planned, but I think it's going to be okay. So we'll come back and wrap this one up in a moment. On that.
The time.
It's 8:51. Destination Sport Miami is here to revolutionize the sports landscape in South Florida. The largest indoor multifaceted sports complex in North America is on the way, with distinguished leaders of its various sports programs and unparalleled access to the finest indoor training fields and facilities. Destination Sport Miami will set South Florida apart as the destination of choice for elite athletic training and development and for its dedication to youth programs and sports on all levels. A phenomenal concept and a powerful undertaking, Destination Sport Miami will also be an important commodity in the sports business community as well. Destination Sport Miami, its time has come.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation location because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. Their hours have changed a little bit. Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 10, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 11:30 to 10. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Play the ponies in style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette. in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. What if I told you you could go to a great restaurant, feel completely safe because their COVID protocol is unmatched, have an amazing meal, have a great time. When the bill comes, you won't get sticker shock. You're going to say, that's too good to be true. No, it's not, because I'm talking about Texas Roadhouse. Great family atmosphere, great atmosphere for a couple, great atmosphere if you just want to go by yourself and watch a game and have the coldest beer in town. And while you're doing that, have the best bread in town. All at Texas Roadhouse. Everything you get there is fresh every day and made sure it's served at your table, hot and ready to go. And the best part is you don't get sticker shock because the prices are amazing. Texas Roadhouse.
Recently, we realized it's not just hurricane season that can hurt us. Any time of year, things can happen to your home or business. And the insurance company can be your friend, but they also can be your enemy. Horizon Public Adjusters, Justina Testa, are here for you to help this process go so much easier. Before you call the insurance company, call Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa at 954-809-8752. Would you go into court without an attorney? So why would you go up against an insurance company without Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa? 7 to 10 times more money recovered with a public adjuster than if you went on your own. If there's no recovery, there's no fee. Give them a call at 954-809-8752. Why go up against insurance companies alone? You can have Horizon Public Adjusters and Justina Testa on your side.
Hey, it's Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet here for my friends over at Shenanigans Sports Pub. It's a great place to go to take in a game, a good meal, and a couple of drinks. My friend Patrick, he's been doing it a long time, and he's got 2 locations. West Side is right across from TY Park in Hollywood. And then the East Side location is at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Shenanigans is the place for wings, burgers, barbecue, fresh fish, anything you want, drink specials, late night dining, outdoor dining. It is the place to go, family friendly. Go to Shenanigans and tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you.
We welcome Anquan Bolden to the show. You're often brought up on shows that we do here in South Florida for many reasons, but not the least of which is the blunder of Dave Wannstedt.
Oh, yeah, don't bring that
up. Eddie Moore.
Yeah.
Eddie Moore.
How smart was that?
Okay, you're a hokey kid. Were you like, okay, I'm going to go to the Dolphins. I'm here. They're going to draft me. Like, come on.
Everybody was screaming. I
was like so giddy. I was excited.
I had talks with, coaches during that time. And, one of the coaches that was there, he actually ended up coaching me in Arizona. And he told me, he said, look, we had you on our board. We were picking you in the first round. And he said, on draft day, right before the pick came up, Wannstedt was like, I'm changing the pick. And he picked the linebacker Moore, who never played.
Never.
No.
Never.
We needed a special teams guy.
Never played. and the receiver coach at that time said he walked out of the room because he was pissed off.
Well, he should.
I think at that time it
probably cost him his job, too.
The morning just isn't right without Defo. Welcome back to the Defo Show.
We're trying to get to the bottom of everything. It may be after the fact. But, we did get to the bottom of the blunder of that year's draft with Anquan Bolden. That was one of the weird ones. I mean, the Dolphins, all teams make mistakes when it comes to drafting players, selecting players, signing free agents, letting guys go that turn out to be superstars. There's not a single team in any sport that doesn't have examples of blunders on their history. When you go to their historical past, everybody's made mistakes. The Dolphins have made an inordinate number of them. In addition, unfortunately, always have to preface everything. But when you talk about Dave Wannstedt, a hell of a nice guy. It's a great guy you would want to hang out with, right? Made you feel good when he was coaching the Finns. Had some success, modicum of success. But I do remember, and welcome back to the show here as we close out this Tuesday edition here of the Defo Show on Ion Channel. I do remember, I was doing talk radio at the time, and it was at a time where it was really caller-driven, where you would essentially say a couple of things, introduce people back into the show, well, whatever it was that you were talking about at the time, and go right to the calls. Mo, in Miramar, you're on sports radio, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was early 2000s in college.
And I can't tell you how many people, when Wannstedt was named the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, and I remember that whole Fugazi press conference where Wannstedt was introduced and Jimmy was going to give it one more year. And then he was bringing his buddy in the back door there, and he literally came in the back door of the press conference, having just been picked up at some hotel. I don't even know where he was. And they said, "Okay, Dave, you're going to be the next coach of the Dolphins. You come in here. You're going to be the chief head assistant. Jimmy's going to coach one more year, and then it's your team." He didn't even have like a jacket on. It was like they literally like grabbed him out of bed. And he came up there and he said all the right things. And then he won like 11 games, I think, the first couple of seasons.
Yes.
Dave wants that. We thought, all right. But the people from Chicago that still carried an absolute, I don't know if it was a grudge.
Hated
I guess you could call it that. They hated Wannstedt, and they thought, well, same thing that happened here is going to happen there. And we were like, oh, no, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
We're so cheap that when they turn their neck, they spend a nickel, their neck squeak. Crazy, any kind of cliche joke about being frugal and penurious applied. And so we let Wannstedt off the hook because we wanted to like Dave because he was a UM guy, he was a Jimmy guy, and we were thinking it's going to be okay. And you know what? Turned out they were right.
Oh, I know.
They said, hey, you know what? Same thing will happen in Chicago. Look good for a little while. Coach of the year. Boom. Within 5 years, you guys are buried. And that's pretty much what happened. The Eddie Moore decision, though, was lethal. Anquan Bolden, one of the great receivers. I don't know. What would you say he was one of the greats of all time, Anquan Bolden?
He set records as a rookie. He played a really long time. He was good for a really long time. He was really durable. If he's not a Hall of Famer, he's very borderline. His stats
a tier probably below Hall of Fame. Is that the way you would perceive his career?
Borderline Hall of Fame, where depending on where stats shake out, like he ended up winning a Super Bowl. He ended up playing for a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And he made the first catch in that Super Bowl, which Jersey Kyle's still trying to collect off Scotty, the world's worst bookmaker, at 10-1 to have Anquan Bolden to score the first touchdown in that Super Bowl. I remember he took him, and that was quite a distinction there. And Bolden told us also during that interview that he got praise and was heaped with all kinds of almost idol-like worship around the world because he caught that first touchdown pass in the Super Bowl, and everybody was cashing at 10-1. All of a sudden, everybody has it. Like the Robin Ventura home run in that Met game in the World Series where the game ended up going under because he didn't round the bases. All right, we rounded the bases with you guys, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. We'll be with you. Tony Segreto is going to go old school with us, and that's brought to you by Catholic Health Services and Texas Roadhouse Restaurants. It's been great being with you for what has been somewhat of a rambling session here this morning on Ion Channel, the Defo Show. We'll try and fix up the look of the program there. So if I look a darker shade of pale tomorrow, they should write a song about me, right? Lubie, you look fine, and thanks as always for your participation here on the program and your hard work behind the scenes. Thanks to the Ion Channel people for having us, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7 as we leave you know that. It's 9:01, people.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my show.